Now, Eric July, he is a controversial figure, and I don't really get why. I guess because some of his political and social takes are not with, let's be honest, liberals. So he's just controversial because he has political takes that go against that. And he made a comic book company, and they're basically saying that his comic book company is about anti-woke. And I don't I don't necessarily disagree, but I would say more so that it's the thing of getting wokeness out because you start making it about the character being black, the character being gay, stuff like that, blah 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 blah. And then you focus less on the story. And I think that's the point of his comics, to focus more on the story than focus on a person's, identity and making that the basis of the story. But you have people like Mr. Shawn James, who I'm not gonna act like I know like his whole history. I believe he's a writer, and a lot of people have told me that he's gone from just, focusing on his writing stuff and then all of a sudden just becoming this pro-black person. And I mean, I'm not really for that. I'm not a person that's like, oh, my blackness is above everything. Okay, there's more to life than your skin color. So I went to his page, and he was saying why he's not a fan of Eric July. And I'm like, maybe he'll give me like what this guy did something bad. Did he like, SA somebody? Did he? But it's always, and I find out with these types, it's always the same crap. It always leads back to his politics, his social views, all that stuff. He started off strong. The first half of this video, he was talking about the writing, the writing of ISOM, which is the flagship series, the starting point of Ripper versus stuff. And I was like, okay, well, you don't like the writing. I personally don't look at Rippaverse comics because I'm not a superhero fan, really, to be quite honest. But that doesn't mean it's less valuable. But he started talking about the writing and how the stories are not like all that great, and I was like, okay. But then he goes into this.
Creating a business model, but he's basically one of these far right guys who basically puts his politics in front of his business and
Right there. That's where he's going. You know where he's about to go with this. He's about to go all into this whole thing. And like I said, these liberal people, anything that is not with them is considered right wing. There's no nuance when it comes to there's nuance when it comes, I find it funny. There's nuance when it comes to everything else, but if you don't agree with them, there's no nuance to your viewpoint. You're just a right wing person, right? So, yeah, you know where we're going.
related to looking to pander to many of the those on the white right or
And that's another thing. You pander into white folks. Black people do this all the time. Oh, you criticize black people? Uh, you're pandering to white folks. Automatically, it can't be just like you use your own eyes and you've seen these things happen time and time again. When you're raised in the projects or something and you see you can't go outside after dark because you're going to die. Like you're going to get, when you see you can't go to a playground and you have to worry about, random being fired at you. You can't criticize that, right? Otherwise, you're trying to appeal to white people. Anytime you criticize, and it's like, who is supposed to criticize black people, right? If you're white, you're racist. If you're anything outside of black, you're racist. If you're black, you're appeasing white people, you're a grifter, you're a coon, all that other stuff. So let's just push the button.
as he calls it, libertarian. It's the same thing to me. It's all
There it is. And like I said, remember, like I said, anything that doesn't agree with them, it doesn't matter if you're libertarian or anything else, even if you're just, centrist. It's right wing. It's all right wing. If you don't agree with them, it's all right wing.
the same thing. And again,
Same thing.
that basically is the thing that led to him going into a decline, because people, as they read the books, they didn't see that level of quality as related to challenging bigger companies. Because yeah, you can talk about Marvel and DC making garbage comics, and they do make garbage comics at Marvel and DC, but if you're off,
I'm just gonna say, and this is just this is not related to what I really want to talk about, but how do you listen to he sounds like a computer. and and he does this, but that he does that, and I just want to know that like this, what is this emphasis? Maybe he had, you know what? Maybe I should stop. Maybe he has like a neurological thing that, screws him up and makes him talk like this. So and how do you listen to that? How do you listen to that? A whole video of that. But that's just my thing.
offering an alternative, the alternative really has to be of an extremely high quality, like what I tried to do with John Haynes at Death's Door, or Steam No Good Deed, or the scripts that I have for the ISIS graphic novels that I basically have on my computer that I just am waiting to try to get the funds to do, from donations or support, just trying to get that.
That's interesting that you criticize him and his decline, and yet you can't fund your own stuff, right? So apparently, your stuff isn't that great either. So, and you've been doing it a lot longer than me and him. So you say you have all this stuff, but then you're like, I'm waiting for the support, waiting for the donations. So apparently people aren't messing with you like you thought. But let's keep going with the video, and maybe we can get some substance out of this video. Sustenance, sorry.
That type of support. But the whole thing is that when you go to the marketplace, you get one chance at a first impression. And with Rippaverse, there really was not a good first impression as related to their books. And that's the reason why a lot of people basically, after buying Rippaverse books, just got completely turned off. They got turned off because, hey, I bought this guy said he was going to do something that was going to be different, going to do something that was unique, but it's the same. It's just as bad as the other books. Again, showing the real problem with so-called woke is something I've said is inexperience, because experienced people can go out here and create stuff and understand how to create content. This is something that I understand from many years of experience. You just can't just create content. You have to create compelling content that gives people a reason to care about your characters.
Or you have to grift and try to make him seem better than he is, because you're about to say he's not for black people, and you had to grift and try to invoke black people to get them in a rage and keep them feeling oppressed because the white man this and the white man that, and everybody is just sitting there trying to appease the white man. No one can think for themselves and see that there's problems. It's always the white man. We're always trying to do stuff for the white man.
And your story, you've got to go out here and create compelling stories. And Eric July, basically, yeah, he has the understanding of the business part of business models, but he doesn't have the understanding of being creative. That's always been his problem. That and the old bootlicking for many of these guys on the far right. When it comes down to Eric July, he's got a good business model, but the sad part is he doesn't have the product. And again, if you don't have the product, then you don't have a solution, because products are about solutions.
But you're saying this, and it seems like, as you said, you're waiting for the funds of your things to come, and apparently you don't have the stories because people aren't giving you money for your story, and you're still waiting for the funds of, like, all right, and this is another thing that kind of pees me off. You're waiting for the funds, right? I put out five books 5 books by myself. I went to Kickstarter. I went to GoFundMe. Not GoFundMe, what's it called? Indiegogo. I never got fully funded for any of my books. They're still out. They're still out in physical form. I still got books, even though I don't have the funding. Physical books that you can read. www.freyofficial.com. I even got an omnibus that's coming out that has the first 3 volumes of Inlock, and these were not funded. I didn't have to wait for the funds. I didn't have an excuse as to why I didn't get my books in physical form and out there. I took it upon myself to fund myself and put my product out there because we all know you make money, or you have to spend money to make money. That's what I get for, trying to do that voice and make a point. Um, but yeah, it's just completely absurd. Completely absurd. His politics has nothing to do with the decline. In fact, he actually made a video saying he just got a deal with a company, with a publishing company, where now his books are going to be worldwide in your local bookstores. So this whole idea that people don't want to be with him is a complete farce. But let's continue.
And if you don't have a solution, people are not going to buy your product, because people buy products to get solutions. They want a solution to their problem. And the whole thing is, the problem of bad comics basically can't be solved with bad comics. I mean, you have to have quality material, and that's been the Achilles heel for Eric July. I mean, that's the Achilles heel for this guy, along with him pandering to the far right, and basically, again, looking to pander to those type of folks. Right. So I look at Eric July, and again, a lot of one of those viewers again wanted to big him up, but I don't see anything to big him up at all. Again, he's still got a lot to learn about this publishing business, because I've been in this game for over 18 years. And again, you have to understand what you're doing as related to reaching your customers. If you want to keep those customers, if you want to keep that and build that base of customers, you get one chance at a good first impression. And if you mess up that chance to get a first impression where your stories are not good, that people will forgive bad art. They'll even forgive, like in the case I would do hand-drawn covers back in the day, they would forgive the covers if the writing was good. But when it comes to Eric July, yeah, he gets good artists on his books, but the whole thing is the writing isn't there. And on top of that,
where are you? What? What? Stop talking. How about at this point when the train is going by? How about you just like stop for a second? Just stop for a second. Pause the video and just let the train go by, and then resume the video. One cut would not hurt you. Like, just cut the video for 1 second and just let the train go by so we can hear what you're actually saying.
Not a fan of Eric July. Nope, not a fan of him at all, because he doesn't really make great books. And on top of it, he basically, again, comes across as really a guy, again, who comes across as hard on black people, but again, makes excuses for white people. And those same white people in those white circles basically be cooking and roasting him, because he beat them at their own game. He beat them at their own game as related to business. And that's why a lot of people, again, be talking bad about Eric July, but looking at him objectively, I can say, I don't. The Rippaverse books just are not that good. I mean, yeah, you got a good way to get the books to the reader, but you have to give them content that's quality. And if you don't give people content that's quality, it
Right.
doesn't.
So he's repeating himself over and over again. But here's the thing. It's funny how after saying that, looking at him objectively, after I bashed him about his politics, about how he kisses white people's butt, blah 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 blah. Now I'm going to sit there and say, I'm objectively speaking, I don't like it. No, you don't like it. The main part of this was you don't like his politics. I guarantee if Eric July came out here and said, you know, DEI is the best thing, and we need reparations and stuff like that, pro-black stuff, he'll be like, he would talk way differently about Eric July, and that's the problem. Now, the reason why I came to this is because, of course, I left a comment. Sometimes I go on things and I leave comments. Um, so I wrote, it's fascinating how any black person who criticizes our community or don't go along with the woke narratives and DEI are just pandering to white people. Yet we are supposed to be such a diverse-minded people. I noticed that anytime people say they don't like Eric July, it's basically about his political views. You could have saved all the critiques on the books because that wasn't really the reason you don't like him. You pandered to black people and Democrats. You're no different. Everybody panders to an audience to make sales or get noticed. Literally every business panders to an audience, whether they're white, black, young, old, LGBTQ, straight, etc., etc. Right? And I'm going to skip these people that are irrelevant. So he came back and said, July posed in a picture with a racist like Kyle Rittenhouse. He's not for black people, and his work is just as badly produced and poorly written as those woke writers he complains about at Marvel and DC. He is just that he's just like the leftists he complains about. This ain't about diversity. July is a bootlick who looks to get favor from the far right races like those at the Blaze who fund him. And that's my point right there. You see, everything's about white people. White people this, white people that. You're pandering to white people. Notice how like his response was more along the racist part. It wasn't just about his books. It was his racistness. Uh he posed with Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever. And all I said was, how was Kyle Rittenhouse racist? Didn't he shoot two white people? Why didn't he just open fire on black people that were there if that's the case? Also, what does for black people mean? Like the notion that black people can't call out our own community is ridiculous. By that logic, liberals should be liberal whites shouldn't say how terrible other whites are when they are racist. But your statement at the end is exactly what I said about you. It's not really the comics, it's his political views. I'm pretty sure that if a leftist outlet wanted to talk to him, he would go on and talk. And the problem is, most leftists are screaming about don't platform people, don't agree with our opinions. Don't platform people who don't agree with our opinions. The right doesn't do that. So he goes on right wing platforms, which is true. Who is the ones that are always telling you you need to ban this person, you need to get rid of this person? It's always a leftist or a slash liberal slash I'm grouping. It's just like he grouped, I'm grouping leftist liberals. You're all maintain your own if you want to be pushed apart, separate. But yeah, it's always that side that's telling, you know, oh, you don't agree with me? Get him out of here. Take him off the platform. Who was the one during the last administration, especially during like COVID? You know what I'm saying? Where they were banning people off of platforms and they were even like doctors who were contesting what they were saying about the thing. Remember our current president got kicked off of uh Twitter, right? Like they're the people that want to ban people. They want to act like they want to have the conversation with people, but they don't. They don't want to have they have like a mental breakdown when people don't agree with them. And then they're just like they get to the point where they're just like, I just don't want to talk to you. Get out of here, blah blah blah. And it's like, how can you have any kind of compromise when it's like one side is just like, I will not talk to you. If they do talk to you, what they want to do is just lecture you. They want to lecture you. And if you don't allow them to lecture you, they want to they're the ones that dox you. They're the ones that show up at your house and try to protest. Like that's 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 their MO. So it is what it is. But anyway, continuing. So he came back and said, Kyle Rittenhouse came to the black part of Kenosha to kill black people. He wouldn't left his house if that had been a riot over a white cop shot a white person. I see you are one of those bootlicks, and this is where I have the problem. Like I said, I'm not even barely defending Eric July. I'm not saying his books are the best thing ever. I'm just saying I don't get why you hate him so much over his political views. Like, who was supposed to criticize black people? Who was supposed to criticize black people except us? Who is supposed to like the notion that just because I don't agree with you, I'm all of a sudden just catering to white people. And it's like, I know there's going to be people that are probably going to comment here and be like, whoa, you do seem like you're catering to white people. I don't care, dude. I don't care. Like, you people have used that stuff so much in my life that I don't care. I'm just going to give my opinion. Like, like it's amazing. I've had friends. There's this guy on in Instagram. I'm not going to call him out because I like him as a person. He's not disrespectful or anything. It's just, but we got into a debate and he was like, I don't know why you hate being black so much. And I'm like, and I'm like, where does that come? That basically because I saw the facts of something and I disagree with you. Now I all of a sudden hate being black. Blah. I hate being black. That's the stupidest crap, but that's where they go to. They go to the shaming tactics. They go to the sometimes violence. Like, but anyway, so I see you're one of those bootlicks who will excuse anything those on the far right do. Once again, like I said, these people, anybody who doesn't agree with them is far right. Eric July is not far right. So there's no reasoning with you. You just gonna have to learn the hard way. And this is another thing about black people. They always tell me like I'm gonna learn the hard way from white folks, right? I'm 40, right? I'm 40. I've had encounters with uh, cops. I used to go to the rec center when they actually had actual physical locations. It was like you had like sports teams, video games you can play, and it was ran by officers. Like I grew up with officers. I have two uncles that are officers. My dad is ex-military. My dad and another one of my uncles are ex-military. Like I've been around, what I'm saying is I've been around authority figures, cops and stuff. I've been pulled over before. Like I'm still waiting for this imaginary wake up card that is going to happen to me. It's been 40 years. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the big old racist cop to come and tell me, get out of the car, N word. Like, I'm I'm waiting for that. Can we search your car? We think we smell weed. Like, it's it baffles me. Like, they will take a handful of things and make it seem like the whole system of cops are just like corrupt. I'm not saying there's no bad cops or anything, but they'll take one or two instances around the whole country. Now, mind you, millions and millions of black people get pulled over for stuff, have encounters with cops every day. Nothing happens to them, but they'll take like the one or two instances that are reported in the news and be like, see, cops are just offing black people. They're just, and it's like, dude, chill out, chill out. You know how many black people have encounters with cops every day and nothing goes awry? Like, but like I said, and then that's another thing. The media, the liberal media, fuels that narrative because, if someone gets by a police officer, a black person, in February, like the beginning of February, and then another one gets by a police officer at the next month or two, they'll like try to run those together, like close together. So it seems like, all across America. Notice how you haven't heard anything really lately, right? It's only during certain times. But anyway, we're going off into the weeds. That's not what this video is about. Um, so he says I'm gonna have to learn the hard way. I'm gonna get my um N-word less. What do they call that? What do they even call that? Wake up call. There we go. My N-word wake up call, as they continuously say. And it's always the black people who are saying, I'm gonna like, why is it always other black people who are the ones that always seem to like threaten that something bad is gonna happen to you, right? I don't get that notion at all. I've never had any other race come up to me and be like, "Oh, you don't support this liberal talking point? You're gonna get it. You're gonna find out the hard way about this society and blah 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 and how white people do this and that." I've never had any other race do that. Asian, Indian, Latinos, none of that. But it's always the black people that are like, "Yeah, you're gonna get it one day," and then even if let's just play this out. Even if I did get it, you think I'm gonna just sit there and be like, well, I need to run back to black people. I need to run back. I need to just switch everything around and start going ham for black people. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that at all. I'm not gonna just all of a sudden be the social justice warrior for the black people. I'm not gonna turn into freaking Al Sharpton or something. Like I'm not gonna do that. So, I would take my lumps and then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm still gonna just go about my life. But anyway, so you're gonna have to learn the hard way. And my response, because I don't think Shawn responded after that, because you know how they do. They like to, say their piece and then give the walk off. You're dismissed. You're dismissed, girl. Like that's what they act like. Let me get you told and then let me run off. So I put LOL. So that didn't answer my question. He didn't black people because he said he was intentionally going there to kill black people. And I said he didn't black people. He killed whites. Then turned himself into the cops. Why didn't he just go there and start? I keep saying I probably should bleep some of this out, so I'll do it. Uh, start black people if that was, hold on, let me read it like him. Why didn't he just go there and start black people if that was the mission? He only, I can't do it anymore. He only whites. You're incredibly deranged to make an illogical conclusion when the facts say otherwise. But there is no reasoning with you people, you black people that like to keep other black people, other blacks, feeling like they are oppressed and that they have to keep looking over their shoulders. I've literally lived in white suburbia for 40 years of my life, still waiting for this lesson that black people keep telling me I'm getting. LOL. It's only mostly black people that keep threatening something is going to happen or they want something to happen to me just because I don't walk around scared of white people like you. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. It's black people like this that keep you black people at low vibration and feeling like you're oppressed. This is why when I go to sell my books, www.freightofficial.com, go over there and get some. There's merch there too. I put up new merch. Um, they feel they when I go to these conventions, right, and I sell my books, and they feel like, oh, I can't do it. How do you do it as a black person? You know, it must be so hard. And it's like, well, when you have people like this telling you all the time that, hey, what's up, Eric July? How you doing? I didn't even see that picture there. When you have black people like this telling you, you know, there's this white boogeyman who's always trying to oppress you, and then, you know, you're one of the bad black people because you don't agree with, you critique the black culture, right? Um and it's funny because it's like Eric July has a black wife, a black child, and he owns a black business. But people like this will sit there and be like, he's anti-black. And it's like I said, who criticizes black people? When can we take account for our own stuff? Like, you try to hold other blacks accountable so our image doesn't look so bad. Like, it just annoys the crap out of me. And he's like the older generation, especially, they're not trying to get their children or the younger generation in general to feel like they have limitless potential. Instead, what they're doing is telling us we're still under the thumb of the white man. We can't do anything. Despite there's a lot of stuff around us that tells us otherwise. But the white man, the white man is oppressing you because he doesn't like black people. Ooh, ooh. You don't that does that means you don't have any opportunity in life because a white man doesn't like you. Ooh. It's like, so what? I've never put my race above like any type of hatred. You hate me for what you hate me for. And either way, I'm good. I don't need to work with you. I can find my own way if that's your opinion, whether you hate me because my age, my skin color, what country I'm from. Like, I'll find my own way. I don't need how I'm going off into the weeds so much on this thing. And I don't even it was just going to be a response to this Shawn James thing, but now you got me talking. And it's like, how do you go into a place knowing that a person dislikes you, right? My thing would have been, and we're talking about 2026. We're not talking about way in the past. We're talking about 2026. How do you go into like a job? And look, there's still racist people everywhere. Black, white, and yes, there is racist black people. We're not going to go into that debate about that. Black, white, Indian, Asian, et cetera, et cetera. Any race. There's races across the board. How do you go to any place knowing that people don't like you and think, "Oh, I want to patron this place. I want to I want to work here." Like, no. You go and you find something else. Some people that actually want to work with you. Some people that want to be around you. My point is, black people like this are the ones that keep you oppressed. And we'll never get anywhere as black people if we keep listening to people like him, where all it is about the white man, the white man. Everything's the white man. Like at a point, you have to sit there and be like, well, the past, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna get ahead regardless. Because I promise you, the majority of white people are not getting up and giving a crap about you. The majority of white people don't give a crap about you. They're not waking up to oppress black people, especially when we have people like this who oppress us themselves. I'm going to start doing more of these just, off the cuff thought videos because, I do want the channel to grow. So I don't want to just wait until I get like this idea for a video and then I have to like do some research and then script it out and blah, blah, blah. This is more authentic, not authentic because the scripted ones are my thoughts. Um, Raw. Yeah. I think people like, raw videos from time to time. But it'll also help me to just have more content for y'all to look at. So anyway, Frey, I love you guys. Thank you for just listening to me and like, share, follow, and do all that wonderful stuff. And if you want to support the channel, go to www.freyofficial.com and you can get, well, not the omnibus, it's not there. You can get this. This is volume 4 of Venlock. Let's go. Along with the other 3 volumes, there's prints up there. You can hire me for commissions and you can get merch. I put up new merch. There's oh, why don't I just go over to frayofficial.com myself? Oh, because this is an old browser. My computer's 12 years old, guys. So it's probably not going to show it. It's probably not going to show any pictures. Yeah. Yeah, that bites. But anyway, commissions, books, prints. I got clothing now. I got totes. I got home accessories. Ugh, can't read. I don't have anything in other merch yet, but we'll get there. This is a pillow design. I got 3 tote bags with my mascots on them and, all that other stuff. I'm touring. Next place I will be half to half should be halfway to Halloween in Marley Station on May 29th. So come out and see me. Get yourself some artwork and let's, just talk. Hang out and talk. Get some artwork and do those things. So I'm gonna go. This video has been wonderful. It let me just kind of throw out a lot of thoughts there and tell me what you think in the comments below.